So we are in factoring part 1. The first thing that I always want you to do is look for a greatest common factor. That is always the first thing that you are going to do 100% of the time, because it makes your life significantly easier. So for instance, 6, 18, and 108, 6 goes into all of those. So your greatest common factor is 6. So we can take that out of there, which leaves us with a squared minus 3a plus 18. Alright, and then this is the unfoiling type factoring, just so I know kind of the easiest way to explain it. So you know that it's going to end up looking like this. Alright, now we are going to do the box method because it applies to pretty much every type of factoring and just makes it a lot easier. So it just kind of makes everything. You don't have to remember a billion different ways to do things. You can just do them this way. So we're going to have our a squared in the top left, and we're going to have our 18 in the bottom right. And then we've got to figure out which numbers multiply to give us 18, but add up to give you a negative 3. If you're having trouble remembering which one is which there, remember that you are polite when factoring. Multiply, add, multiply spells ma'am. Alright, so because the 18 is a negative, even though I made it a positive, let's fix that real quick. Don't swap signs for no reason like Miss Holly. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? Alright, so because of this being a negative, we know that two numbers need to multiply to give you a negative 18. That means that one of them is going to be positive and one of them is going to be negative. So our options become 9 and 2, with 1 being negative, but 9 plus negative 2 is 7, and this guy's negative 7, so that's no good. We also have 3 and 6, with one of them being negative, and since 3 is also negative, you know that the larger number is the one that needs to be the negative. So that couldn't be an answer. That couldn't be an answer because it's going to give me a positive number. So this guy right here is our winner. And we have 3a and negative 6a. And then you factor out each row and each column. What do they have in common? So the first column here, they both have a's. Second column, they both have 3's, and it's a positive 3. In the first row, they both have a's. In the second row, always if the first number is negative here, you're always going to take out a negative, and then we're going to have a 6, because we've got to have a positive and a negative number. So, a plus 3 and a minus 6. Alright, second one, greatest common factor. There is none, so you can just move on with life. So, you know that you can set up kind of the bones of this operation, and we're going to set up our little square dude. I'm sure that your Algebra 1 teacher gave you a name for it, or your Algebra 2 teacher, Miss Holly, has not come up with something, so if you come up with something, let me know. Alright, so what multiplies to give us a negative 28 adds up to give us a negative 3. We know that we're going to look for a negative and a positive number. So you got to have a pair of negative and positive. 28, always 7 and 4. Since this guy is negative, the larger number needs to be negative. Negative 7 times 4 is negative 28. Negative 7 plus 4 is negative 3. Negative 7r and 4r. Take out an r. Take out a negative 7. This way, take out an r. Take out a 4. Positive 4. So we've got r minus 7. We've got r plus 4. Fantastic. Moving on. A little more complicated. Alright, so in this guy, our greatest common factor is 5. So we're going to take 5 out from each of these, which leaves us with 2x squared plus 17x plus 36. I'm going to write up the ma'am above it because it's very, very helpful. And we're going to set up our box. So that 5 is already taken care of. We do not have to deal with that 5 anymore. He just hangs out. So he's just going to be here on the outside, chillaxing. Alright, so we're dealing with a 2x squared, and we're dealing with a 36. Now, we do not need numbers that multiply to 36. We need numbers that multiply to 2 times 36. That's actually what we were doing in the previous ones, but this first number was 1. So 1 times negative 28, we just jumped right there. And same with this one. 1 times negative 18 was just negative 18. So with this one, 2 times 36 is 72, and this is a positive 72. So that means we are looking for either a positive and a positive number, or a negative and a negative number. Since we're adding to get a positive 17, we know that we are looking for a positive and a positive. So, 72, 9 times 8 is the winner here. 9x and 8x. First column, we're going to have a 2x that sneaks out of both of these. Second column, both is divisible by 9, positive 9. First row, both are divisible by x, and second row, both are divisible by a positive 4. There you go. Alright, this guy, our GCF is none, so we're just going to jump right into it. I'm going to pause the recording. Ta-da! Magically appears. Okay, so in this one, we've got 5b squared and we've got 8, and we need to multiply, add, multiply. We need to multiply 5 times 8, which gives us 40. So we want numbers that multiply to give us a positive 40. So again, we're looking for a positive positive or a negative negative. They're adding up to be a negative 14, which means they both have to be negative. So hopefully 4 and 10 jump out at you there. 40, 4, and 10 ends in a 0. And negative 4 plus a negative 10 is a negative 14. So that is correct. Negative 4b, negative 10b. By the way, it does not matter which one you put in which place, and it does not matter which 2 comes first here. So, we're going to take out a 5b, we're going to take out a negative 4. In the rows, we're going to take out a b and a negative 2. Now we've got 5b minus 4 and b minus 2. So I could have written b minus 2 times 5b minus 4. That would be the exact same situation. Alright, last 2, and then you are free. Alright, as always, GCF. Woohoo! None. Move on with life. You gotta multiply these guys together, because that is your MAM part. Again, I'm gonna pause it to set everything up. Alright, so 6 times negative 10 gives us a negative 60. That's what we gotta multiply to get. We're adding up to get a negative 17. So, multiplying to get a negative, you have to have a negative and a positive. So, 60, we've got 6 and 10. Since this guy is a negative, the bigger number would have to be negative, but that only gives me a negative 4. 3 and 20, that would give me a negative 17. Woohoo! Ooh, that's what we're looking for. Alright, and then we got 3v and negative 20v. That was our winner. Again, factoring out what these both have a 2 and a v. These both have a 1, because they don't have anything in common. These ones have 3 and v, and these two have a negative 10. So, we've got 3v minus 10, and we've got 2v plus 1. Alright, last guy, GCF, is, let's see, 3 goes into both of those, and they both have a b. So we're going to factor out a 3b, and we're going to get 3b plus 5. You cannot factor this anymore, so you're done.